Right. With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Kenny Engel here. Eugene Boo absent. Michael.
I'm here by Zoom.
Oh, Eugene. Thank you. Michael Holt, how do you say your last name? Huffman. Yep, here. Okay. Richard June. Here. Mark Allen, that's me here. We have two new members we need to swear in. Ask the attorney to help us with that.
Yep, should just say I do after I recite it. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Indiana, that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of the Stark County Board of Zoning Appeals according to the law and to the best of my ability.
I do.
Good.
Okay. We actually need to reorganize the board. We had a quorum at the time. Do we need to redo that?
Did you already constitute the board previously? You elected or nominated a president, a vice president?
Yes, I'm president, he's vice president.
Okay, and there's no need to reconstitute. You're good to go.
Okay. So tonight we have three hearings. First hearing will be, petition A, Kyle Kuiper. Are you here, Kyle?
I am.
Okay, so I have to have a motion from the board to open for the petitioner to go ahead and explain exactly what he's doing.
I make a motion to open it up.
Okay, we have a motion. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay. Mr. Kuiper, go ahead.
I live in Harts Lake and I have own lots directly across the street from me. And I just want to build a 32 by 48 pole barn. I have concrete in it, so I'm gonna put a basketball hoop in the front of it. Just being at the lake, I've acquired a bunch of kayaks, paddle boat, paddle board. Living on a lake, I also don't have a basement. I'm looking for just a place for general storage. Put the stuff in the winter, lawnmower in the winter. That way I can get both my vehicles back in my garage. And it's directly, my plan is to walk right out of my driveway and then right to the front door of that barn. We're pretty close.
It's gonna be on this property here, Mark.
Yes, sir.
And then he owns this one, and then this is his residence.
I guess what's the ordinance? I mean, is the reason why he can't? What is the reason why he cannot? Go ahead.
So currently with no dwelling on the parcel, you're not allowed to have an accessory structure. The zoning requires primary residence before it. The applicant does not plan on building a home on that parcel, so without the variance, the property remains just unused.
But you own all the adjacent properties, correct?
Yes, I do.
And this,
And there's not gonna be a home built in the future or nothing like that, or?
My children are little, I mean. Yeah, they're 4-8, so I have no idea what they'll do when they're older, but no.
I mean, that's your primary thing. You just want to try to put a building up for your storage.
That's it, yep, just one FBI builders, building a building, I can get everything, out of the snow, out of the winter. Just put away for the winter, but being on a lake, it's pretty seasonal.
Yeah. Is there a setback rule for if he was to put it up there, how close is it gonna be to the road?
Oh,
I mean, just asking questions.
yeah, I was gonna let the builder tell me what he thought the best pieces, I mean. I really haven't even thought that far into it, I'm gonna keep it close to the road so I can walk out of my driveway and see it. In my front living room, I wanna look out my window, be able to see it. So I plan on keeping it just fairly close to the road, say off 60 feet.
Okay,
so it did meet, I mean, as far as the acre or size, there is enough footage there to put a building and still meet the setback requirements for that R3.
it does need a setback, and
No,
that's
it
what,
meets it, it
Oh, it
would meet
meets
it,
it?
yeah, there's enough
Okay.
room there.
So it's just because he's got a vacant lot, that's
Correct.
the reason why. That's the issue. Okay. Are there any, people in the audience for this gentleman? I mean, is there anybody for, his project? Anyone?
Sure.
Yeah, so Mark, this. At this point, the petitioner to have a seat, and
Okay,
then you say we're gonna open it up for public comment. If anyone would like to speak in support or against, please state your name, your address, limit to 3 minutes.
okay.
So at this point, petitioner, have a seat. We'll open it up for public comment. If anybody has a public comment, raise your hand. We'll call on you in that order. State your name, address, and state your indication for or against the project.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Teresa Taylor, 1188 East US 30, Grovertown, Indiana, 46531. Don't see any reason why you should be able to build a building on his property to keep his living rate.
Anyone else? Yes,
Stephen Miller, 5240 East 200 South. I would say if the property's big enough to put a house there later on, there should be no problem with it. I mean, if there's still room for a house later on, I mean, they could still be done if they want to. You're not killing a whole piece of property for nothing.
anyone else?
Jeremiah Patrick, 5380 North, 1100 East Grovertown. I think you guys should let him do it. Property value in Stark County struggles enough to be told you can't do something with a vacant piece of property.
Okay. Anyone else?
I agree with that. Anthony Garland, 2036 South, North Judson. I believe, yeah, I mean, if you look at his parcel, I mean, his house is pretty much taking the whole side. There's no room for another building there. He owns the other side, so, I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Anyone against? Can I get a motion to, close?
No, there's no motion to open or close public comment. So any more public comment? Any more public comment? All right, so now you just say we're gonna close public
We're gonna
comment
close public comment.
and now bring it back to the board. And then the board can ask the petitioner any questions or the board can discuss, and then the board would entertain a motion to approve.
Anything with the board?
I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest we need to have some ground.
I was gonna say, that's pretty big.
So there's a motion that's made to approve a variance of use to allow construction of an accessory structure on a parcel that does not contain a primary residence. So Amber, that's the motion. And we're gonna say, comma, subject to the building meeting all building setback and building construction requirements.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
yeah,
Kenny, is that your motion?
yes.
That's what that's got.
The words right.
Okay. So this, if this passes, this will be good for 1 year. Okay. The other thing I should notate is that if in the future you would want to build a structure, a residential home on it, the code also requires that the house has to be in front of it, depending upon where you put it. And then you eventually do want to do it, and it would have to be in back of it. You would have to come back for a developmental variance for that. That's down the road. I'm just giving you full warning of that requirement, okay?
Is it big enough to put a structure on?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh,
So
okay.
then there needs to be findings of fact. The findings of fact, I've heard it referenced already. That placing this building will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Number 2, this will not negatively affect area adjacent property values. And 3, the strict application of the code would preclude and make it difficult to otherwise use this property. We can see from the map that's up there that you've got a funky road with a Y section all the way through it. You've got tiny shaped parcels. This meets the general nature of why it's difficult, right? So there's a ground, that third ground is met as well. So those would be the 3 grounds that would be adopted by the board in support of the motion. Is that all?
Yeah. This is Eugene. I have a question.
Go ahead, Gene.
Has he applied for a driveway permit through the county highway department? Because this is separate property, and in order to have a drive on either one of those roads, you have to have a permit from the county highway department. Am I wrong?
Where are you gonna come in?
No, you're correct, sir.
Yep.
He'll still follow all requirements for permitting. He'll need
everything, he'll have to meet everything as far as building code and zoning. Outside of this variance.
And that was, Gene, that was the subject to any building setback or other building requirements that we have with the county.
That was one of the things you mentioned.
Yep. Good question.
Mark? That sound good?
Or
You would agree with that, Mr. Applicant?
All right, so now we call for the question. We need a motion and a second. So Kenny made the motion. Who made the second? Richard. All right. So we'll call for the question. Amber, you want to take them down the roll call?
Michael,
Yes.
Kenny?
Yep.
Yep.
Richard? Mark?
Yep.
Gene?
you
You guys have adopted election. Okay.
And my understanding was I can't vote via Zoom.
No.
Okay, all right. I thought-
Where would you vote, Gene?
You can't. Oh.
I feel like I'm there.
Sir, it has passed. So there will be a recordation against your property indicating that it's for this exclusive use. It is good for 1 year. So at this point, work with John and Building Department for any and all applications, other county approvals.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Up for second hearing. John Road, John here? Okay, so John, I guess, at this point, we need to hear what exactly you're trying to do. Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, so I'm looking for a variance, from the front, from the front there to build a pole barn in the driveway. It's 50 feet or 45, depending on if we call it a corner lot, and I'm looking to go to 25 feet. I am right next to the boat launch and my driveway, I'm sure if you guys have boats, my driveway is always full of people. And I'm just looking for a little privacy. I'm looking for a little, my wife's there alone a lot. We're gonna retire here in the next couple of years. I'm looking for just a building to have a little privacy in the front. The little short fences that are in the front this pole barn would sit inside of the fences. So on the one side by the boat launch, that fence is about 26, 27 feet. And this would be sitting 32 feet. So it would be well inside there. Because of the way that they built the house, I want to keep the same structure and the same design. So I'm looking it would be 25 feet from the road in towards the middle of my driveway. And then I would jog up and then have one more bay where it'd be 25 feet around those stumps. So I'm looking to build a 38 by 30 pole barn in a driveway, not obstructing anything. You can see by the Google Earth picture that should be in there, it shows the tree. There's a tree line from the road. You wouldn't see it unless you're in front of my driveway. And then the tree line along the boat launch. Some people leave my driveway open, which is awesome, but then they get out of their car to look around the boat launch. So they're in my driveway anyway. So I'd almost rather they just cover my driveway at this point, and then they can kind of peek around. So the tree line in front of the boat launch is that's the obstruction. This building would sit well in front of it, but it would just make it so, honestly, I could have coffee in the morning and not have people in my driveway. That's honestly.
How many feet are you now? Did I ask that?
How many feet is the house?
How many feet off the road are you currently?
The house, you mean?
Yeah. Any idea?
I don't know. Because I'm looking to be 32 on that side, so I would say maybe 70. But the one side is definitely close. That's where I'd have to jog in.
Yeah.
The last fence post that separates his property from the boat launch property, which would be to the northwest of his house on the north side of his drive, is right at 18 feet from center line of the road. That's that tree line that he's talking about. I was out there a couple of times to look at the property. And so the new building he's talking about would be 7 feet inside of that corner post. So
Yeah.
to speak.
And honestly, the last guy lasted 6 months next to the boat launch. It's tough. I'll be honest with you, but I help people. I jump their boats. They're always on my pier. People are walking around my house thinking it's part of the boat launch. it just really would, it would give us peace of mind a little bit. My wife's out there, you know, having a cup of coffee on the back and a guy's walking around getting on the pier. People are bringing their husbands, you know, Wendy's or whatever, or they're bringing bags of food out there, walking on the pier. This would really close everything up. And it would, you know, it would really make our lives much better. And obviously the storage, we would love that. With a pole barn, a fence, we've talked about a fence. The problem with the fence is that everybody's up in their boats and on their jet skis and they see over and we're looking at people all the time. So this would just really help us out and it wouldn't obstruct any views.
Where would you park your vehicles?
In the pole barn.
In the pole barn?
Yeah, one would be a double door, one would be a single door in front.
Okay, so the backside of that pole barn, how far will it be from the water?
Oh, the house is it would be in front of the house, so the water's behind the house.
Okay,
Mhm.
and how far off of the road will it come out to be? 18 plus 7?
There'll be 22 points of 25 feet. So it'll be only in 2 spots will it be the 25 feet I'm looking for. The rest will be 32 and it'll be 30 because we're gonna jog up for the other door.
Let's see,
And then it's gonna go,
what's our ordinance?
it's 50 feet on those like.
50 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are some of the pictures that
I
John
mean,
sent
I
for.
just
randomly my rig
Yeah.
camera and stuff, people are always in my yard, I just. You know, you guys, I'm sure you guys can understand, I know it comes with the territory, but it's just, it would really make a difference with the building there.
And then this is from the boat launch side here, but this is the fence, so it'd be inside here.
Yeah, be inside that fence.
So the tree, and even the Google Earth picture, Amber, it shows where the tree line, it almost goes to the road when it's. You know, on the boat launch side, so the boat launch, they have to pull up to look around the tree line anyway, this will not obstruct anything.
And this is the fence there that separates in between that Eugene was talking about, that this is 18 foot from the center of the road here, and he'd be inside this.
You live there year round?
We don't yet, but my wife's retiring next year, so she'll be here and then I'm gonna be a year after.
So every time you come home, you have to park in the garage because you won't have enough room for a driveway.
Well, there's still gonna be a 10-foot area we can pull cars up, so we're gonna go to that fence on the one side, but we're gonna take that fence down and we're gonna make that driveway. So next to the pole barn, there's gonna be another, cause there's 40, it's,
Oh, the fence in front of the home there?
yes.
Okay, so you're gonna make a kind of a.
Yeah, right there.
In front of the house site, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna make a little driveway there, but yeah, we're gonna pull our cars in for sure.
Now, do I have to have a motion for anything at this point?
No, at this point, I'd have the petitioner sit down and let's take public comment and then we'll take it back to the board for conversation.
So, at this point, then I can take public comment right
Yes,
now.
yeah.
Anybody want to make any public comment towards this project? Go right ahead.
Have to state my name and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Teresa Taylor, 11880 East US 30, Beavertown, Indiana, 46531. See no reason for this. It improves his property value, his quality of life, doesn't obstruct any views. Yeah, and what's the reason why not to grant it?
Anyone else? Sir.
Cal Paper, 8550 South Boat Suite, Monterey. I have used that boat launch a lot and it is crowded, especially holiday weekends. Pretty heavy, warm weekends, I mean, it's Lake Fest. It is hard to not put a boat in there and not be in his yard. And I do sympathize because a lot of people are right there. There's a lot of cars that go well down the road, so I do think the privacy would really improve his quality of life there.
Anyone else?
Jeremiah Patrick, 5380 North, 1100 East, Grovertown. I've used that ramp several times. A few years back, we put a parking lot just down the way. Try to help with that problem. I've been to that boat launch since then and hasn't done a lot to help. Definitely a road cars. I'm not even sure how I would even get in and out of the driveway when their boats going in there. I've seen it many times. I guess I didn't realize someone was living there, but I can definitely sympathize with him. I think you should let him do it.
Do I need to read this one? The letter. There's a letter.
I'll read it.
Yeah, have Amber do it.
Okay. Okay. Amber, go ahead. We have a support letter for you also. Amen.
So as a property owner, well, this is from Bill Oliver, property owner adjacent to John Rhodes' property, 4527 East County Road 210, Knox, Indiana. Per the request or comment on Mr. Rhodes' request for a 25-foot setback for construction of an accessory structure, I offer the following. Having reviewed Mr. Rhodes' plans, I am in full support of his project and request for a variance to the current zoning requirements for a 50-foot setback on this parcel. While I will be unable to attend the rescheduled hearing regarding this matter, I am available by phone. You may contact me at any time, William Oliver III.
Now we just have discussion. Or do
Yes,
we
at
have
this
any-
point, any last public comment?
Any more public comment? Going once, twice?
Okay, then back to the board.
Okay, do I have to have any motion?
No,
Just
no
was
motion,
official.
open for discussion.
Okay, board? What do you guys think?
Can Eugene hear us?
Yeah, he should be able to. Gene, you hear?
Yes.
Hey, did you do any other measuring or just at this property? I'm wondering what the setback in Reynolds Park is, if anything's any closer or anywhere in the area.
I didn't do physically any measuring. I did some driving around and just did sight. I mean, there's many things grandfathered into the lake out there, which just that's what it is, grandfathered in. So, and I did meet with John a couple of times to go over some things there, but I saw nothing new that exceeded the setback limitations, but there are some grandfathered stuff in there. But I do have a couple of questions about the building itself, the size of the building. You gave us the dimensions, the length and the width, but you didn't give us the height.
Oh, I think the height restriction was 18 feet, so that was the plan.
18 feet?
Yeah, under 18 feet, I think the pole barn, the plan shows under 18 feet.
Do you have any future plans of converting some of the barn into a living space?
Absolutely not.
Any other questions from the board?
Do you plan to keep the same roof line or are you going higher?
Same roof line. So, and it's a ranch, the pole barn type house is a ranch, so the roof line actually works to be under 18.
Okay. I don't have any problem with it. I think it's I'm imagining myself living there. For the property it's needed. I think it's pretty close, but.
Gene, you have any more questions?
No, I don't. I really don't have an issue with it. I mean, any other place, maybe I would, but he's in a spot there that's, I was over there a couple of days when it was really busy and there was people parked all down through his yard there. And I was visiting with him and there's a guy pulled right up to the drive there, nose up to the drive. And so if the building would give him, some privacy, so it wouldn't stop the people from parking along the road, but it would give him some privacy.
Anything else?
I do have a question on your entrance to your barn. That you're asking. So the barn would probably face what, east and west. All right, so the fence you're gonna take down in your front yard. That's gonna be your kind of new parking place there.
Just on the side, the actual, the pole barn, the garage doors will face the street.
Oh, that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a side, those are not enough room.
No, there's no doors on the side to drive in.
No, there will be there may be a small garage door for a golf cart or something,
Okay,
but no, it's gonna be a 3-car garage. It's gonna face the road.
all right. I don't have
Anything else?
any question. I don't have any problem.
So turning back then to the building department, the specific variance that's being granted here now applied for is to allow an accessory structure with a reduced setback from 50 to 25 feet, correct?
Yes,
Are there any other variances that are needed here that have been requested?
he said the height was right, correct? The height is correct?
Yeah, and it stays within the 40% lot coverage.
Okay, and it meets that, so there's no need for variance there, okay? All right, so then if that's the case, and there's nothing else that's required, we'll need a formal motion to approve BZA petition number B from the petitioner, John Road. Grounds would be that it is not injurious to the public health, safety, morals. We've demonstrated that this is necessary for the privacy and safety of the landowner. Number 2, there's been a demonstration that the use and value of adjacent properties will not be negatively affected. And 3, there's been clear demonstration that the strict application of our code, due to its close proximity, being a corner piece to the boat launch, it is resulting in practical difficulties in the use of the property. They're not self-imposed, and that would be another justification for it. So those would be proposed findings of fact, as well as adopting that it shall not be used for living space and will comply with all building and other county requirements. We can entertain a motion with all of that.
A motion to approve it.
Okay, support.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
We have to have individually voted.
Yeah, do it again. Yep.
Okay,
So roll call, Mike,
Yep.
Kenny,
Yep,
Richard,
Yep.
Mark.
yep,
And then just for the record, the other thing that should be done at the beginning of each of these petitions before we hear anything about them is just verify with Amber that all of the legals are in order, the public
all
notices.
the
and
notices
everything.
are in order.
So
Yes.
that's just the step that we gotta build in.
Okay, okay,
We received all certified letters and everything.
okay.
John, it's been granted. You heard the spiel before as to the
One-
timing of it. For everything, there'll be a recordation against the property reflecting those limitations. So you're good to go work with John and Amber department.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Third case, Jeremiah Patrick.
Let's go 3 for 3 tonight.
All right, so, go ahead, Jeremiah.
So on a piece of property in Grover Town, just north of the truck stop on one of these, there's the property. Got a cabin that we have back in the woods. It's been there longer than 5 years, but it's been operational, I guess, since 2021, so we got a building permit for it. Had a girl that worked for me at the time, had her pull the permits. Apparently, according to this has been going on for several meetings. I don't know how much, especially the new board members are aware of it, but been trying to get in front of you guys for a few months here, but since then, we've learned there was a note made upstairs that once people started staying the night there, we would need to come in front of you guys. Didn't know that. We have a neighbor directly to the north. I think you can kind of see their pole barn right there on the property line. That when I bought the property, it was, I'll give you a little backstory so you might understand a little better what's going on, but I bought the property, it was a bean field in 2018. They had a small berm about 3 or 4 feet high on our property lines. And my children were there riding their 4-wheelers and they were shooting guns at the berm from their house. So they're shooting into my property. Obviously with my kids out there with 4-wheelers, I walked over and asked them to not be shooting guns until we had left in a very hostile environment. I explained to them, if you miss, you're gonna kill my kid. And the exact statement I got was, well, your kids could die walking across the street too. So I didn't argue with them, walked away, called the sheriff's department came out. I told them that was unsafe, they couldn't be firing guns that direction with kids over there. And that was the end of that. I believe it was later that year, we started the building process. Of the larger building there. That's my house. And there was some more issues with complaints being brought against us. Anybody that listen, I've had the EPA call on me twice. I know she's called this office. I'm not sure how many times with a bunch. I've had conversations with them. I've had more dealings as early as last year. Last fall, had the sheriff's department back out. So that you kind of see the sand area there, the sand burn that's up there now, the U shape. It's a very large burn that we used for firing guns. The county sheriff's department used it, North Judson PD's used it. The FOP in Plymouth has used it. It's a safe gun range. I was a state firearms instructor when I was on the sheriff's department. We held several trainings there. It's a very safe environment. I've even offered for those folks to use it. And they wouldn't do it. But anyways, late last year, I heard gunfire again, and I look out my kitchen window and I can see them in their yard, firing on into that, on my property, onto the sand burn that's there. Direct line of sight to my house. It's just not safe. That direction is just not safe. So again, I walked over, very hostile. Sheriff's department came back out, told him again, you can't shoot that direction. There's a house right there. And that was the end of that.
So I guess my question is that it's supposed to be for the short-term rental?
Correct. I'm trying to get that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just like the
real. That's the reason we're here. So.
I think the shooting is irrelevant to what we're supposed to be hearing.
Yeah, I understand. I'll give you a little backstory here.
Go ahead.
So, that, she's the only one that's complained. We've had this short-term rental for 5 years now, 0 noise complaints. Through the sheriff's department, through anyone, 0 complaints of anything other than that neighbor. And most recently, about that, apparently, I need to ask for a variance. And that's why I'm here.
Okay.
I've tried to, I know you guys have had difficulty with the quorum. It's been down for several months now. It's a nice place. We have hundreds of reviews, almost perfect reviews, 4.9 star reviews on,
But you've been operating it as a business, correct?
no, it's not a business.
What is it?
It's just a short-term rental. It's that I own.
Airbnb,
Yeah,
then?
Airbnb.
So you're making money off of it?
Yeah, sure.
It's a
yeah.
business.
Consider
Yeah.
Well, so according,
Well,
technically from the law, it's not a business, sir. It would be no different than a landlord charging rent.
Okay.
So it's not a business. He does not need a business permit. Okay, he's free to rent out this house for a week or a year.
So if that's the case, then why is he here for a variance?
He's here for a variance because he has a home that does not meet size requirements and he has a second dwelling on the property.
Okay. Okay. That's different.
So that's what I'm asking for the variance for. If I had known about this 5 years ago, we'd have done it. We went and got the permits, all that stuff. It never got relayed to me through the girl that had picked it up. She doesn't work for me anymore, but she had picked up the permits. The county, so originally when this first happened, y'all wanted to come out and check it out. Health inspector has been out. I'm not sure who the gentleman was. I think John, you may have been there too, maybe, but
No.
prior to you, there was someone else that was there. It's a very nice place. Great reviews. It brings revenue to the county. I don't know what else I could say other than I need permission or grant variance to continue.
I think at this point, why don't you get a staff input, because there's a history here, so
Yeah.
before we go to public comment, let's just have staff. input
Yeah,
for the
I'd like to
history.
know, because if he's saying, if the question is that he can't have 2 dwellings on the property, is that what the reasons?
It's one of.
That's one of them.
Okay, what is another one?
The
Give me
size.
some, okay, it's the size.
Being on
Yeah.
an ag parcel needs to be the 800 square foot minimum to be
How big
considered
is
a
it?
dwelling. Is it 280 foot square feet?
It's
280.
Is that
The history in this property is in 2021, a permit was pulled. It was a shed permit. It was not a dwelling or a home permit. If it was, it wouldn't have been issued because a dwelling already exists on the property. So a shed permit was pulled, no inspections were done on the shed. There was no certificate of occupancy issued, nothing like that. So he was operating, up until 24. I believe 24 is when we got the first complaint, or 25. 24 is the first complaint. Can't speak for fire. However, since then, he has accrued fines on the property, which is the third reason that we are here for the BZA, is the code enforcement side of the house.
You say I have fines?
Yes, sir.
That's news to me.
Robbie has a history of all actions taken against the property. He has a dwelling that has not had any inspections done. I did do what I could as an inspection from what I could see, but I can't see the plumbing, I can't see the electrical, I can't see any framing modifications he did. He has 2 decks that were not inspected. So every inspection that he missed from a building standpoint does accrue a $250 fine. He was issued a stop work order, which is a $1,000 fine. And then he continued to rent the property out. So he was issued a second stop work
That's
order.
false.
Say again, sir?
That's false.
I mean, we have the receipts from the mail.
Yeah, that's false.
Okay, so he needs those 2 variances, and then he'll have to settle the code enforcement case against the property before I can issue a permit to. But the rental is not part of it. He can, once he gets the variance, he can rent it out.
Do whatever he wants. But originally he was supposed to
It
build
was
a
a shed.
shed
Yes.
and he did not. That's something different.
Or well, he could have at the time. I don't know the history of when it changed.
It's a prefab work holder building.
Right.
Which is what the permit was holding, and there's a note made by, I think, the previous, I don't know what your title is, but
Yeah, I think Pam made a note in there for,
somebody made a note that before someone, so that everything's been on the up and up, they knew we were gonna be, what it was gonna be used for, but it was a pre-built shed that we got a permit for, but she was told, the girl was told to pick the permit up for me, that when someone started staying the night, we needed to, before someone started staying the night, we needed to come in front of you guys to get the variance.
Yes, in 2021.
Yeah, but that's in your notes, so.
Yes, she
So
had.
did that occur in 2021?
No.
But you were aware in 2021?
No,
you had to
no,
come
I
back?
wasn't
thought you
aware.
just said that, though.
Yeah. She was told that in this office, according to the note. There's a note made, documented in the computer that she was told that. I was never told that.
Yeah, there was a mention to the secretary. She had mentioned out loud about turning it into a dwelling and renting it as an Airbnb. At that time, Pam is her name. She was the secretary up there. She made mention that if you were doing a second dwelling, you would need to go in front of the BZA. She made note of that in the case file.
So I was made aware, I was not aware of any fines, had no idea that was going on. No one smelled anything to me, but. When we were made aware of this, my wife who's here tonight took it off Airbnb. We came up here, we asked what do we need to do? We were told that people need to come inspect it. Great, come on out. There's been 3 inspections that I'm aware of. I believe my wife was present for all of them. She did the inspections. We were put on the agenda. The meeting was canceled. We're talking last year. Last October, November, somewhere in there.
It was October, yes.
October. So the meeting gets done until October. As far as I'm concerned, no one could tell us what any violation was, what we were doing. The meeting got canceled and got postponed again. We thought we were good. She put it back on Airbnb because we complied with all the inspections. Within a few days, we get a second notice that we need to cease and desist. And we again pulled it down. It's been off ever since.
Exactly.
and then I have one more, letter to read from the Stark County Health Department, Mike Gearhart. Just says, upon visiting this tiny house located in the back of this property, I saw a tiny structure equipped with a gas line along with electrical power and plumbing drain lines. After investigating this back at the office, I found no soil report ever being done for this location where the tiny structure is sitting, and without a soil report, there is no septic permit. In accordance with Indiana on-site sewage system rules 410 AC 6-8.356 on-site evaluation, this system installed is not approved.
Can I speak? Okay,
Yeah,
so there's an explanation for that. So it's not uncommon, we put septics in all the time. It's not uncommon for there to be a bathroom or a shower in someone's garage or a pole barn in several surrounding counties that we work in. It's not uncommon to hook that into the existing septic system for the house. I had 2 soil borings done on that property. Both of them were great. We put the one in for our house, which at the time was supposed to be 600 square feet of a drain field. We upped that to 800 square feet, which is sufficient for a 4-bedroom house. So the purposes of being able to hook that in, we did not hook that in. It does have its own system. It's about 600 feet away from the house. This thing's out in the woods about 1,000 feet off the road. So that's the reality there. If part of this is what you guys want me to run a pipe 500 feet away and tie into an existing system, I'd be happy to do that. But it has a sufficient, I could camera the system and show Mike the system, you know, I'm happy to pay for that, whatever we need to do.
Well, you said you did the soil sample out there.
We did 2 borings, so there's borings on both ends of that property. And this part that this cabin's at is on top of the hill, which is gonna be even better for a system than what is down below the hill. And that's something that, I mean, it's a legit system. It's got filters and all that stuff. I'd be happy to camera it, the inline cameras and show that.
So what do we say, procedures were not followed to come to that point?
Some
By
of
you
the,
or by the county or?
well, it's muddy. I get that. Nothing was done.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean, Jeremiah, they're. I'm about as honest as they come here, but the fact, what I'm seeing is there's procedures to get where you're at and how many were missed?
Well, I think the biggest one and the reason for all of it was the original statement made apparently when this permit was picked up, that it needed to go in front of you guys.
Did it?
No, I didn't know that it needed to.
That was not passed on to you.
Yeah, I did. That information never made it to me.
Whose name was on the permit?
I don't know.
Was your name on the permit, Patrick, or
Are you
the
sure?
lady you keep talking
Sure, I
about?
should pick it up, but it's her name on the permit.
She pulled that, she was the applicant on the
That's
premise.
Stephanie, yeah. So she would have pulled the permit as being her name.
So what would it take to iron this out?
That's the question
You
I've
got a
got.
lot of fines you gotta pay?
I've been to the commissioners.
What are the total
So
of
he would
his
be-
fines? Just
The total of his fines is $5,000. I can't exceed that.
Okay, well,
What,
It
I
would require,
think what we're here to decide though is the variance on the property,
yeah, but you
not
can't.
all the other things. That was just their public office comment.
right,
We don't have to decide
right, but
that. We gotta decide this.
I don't know, I'm just guessing that you would have to take care of old business first to move on to new business.
When was I gonna be told I was getting?
Right, and that's,
No one's ever said
if
it.
you never got any information on it, I don't know who.
So procedurally, a couple things here. Number one is the request before you this evening is whether or not you want to grant a use variance to allow a secondary residence on this property, A, and B, that does not meet the minimum size of a dwelling of the property. That's the variance that's before you this evening. And the justification for it has to be, it's not injurious to public health. It's not going to negatively affect area property values. It arises from a unique condition to the property. And fourth, strict application of the existing zoning code is going to present a hardship to the property, and that this hardship is not self-imposed. Okay, but technically that's state law, that's your county code. You've got to be able to somehow, or the petitioner has to justify to you that he meets those 4 criteria. Okay, again, they are that passing this variance is not going to be injurious to the public health, that the uses of adjacent properties are not going to be negatively affected, that this situation arises from a unique condition to the property, and fourth, strict application of your code would create an unnecessary hardship, and that this hardship is not self-imposed. That's not anything against this gentleman. That's not anything against anybody in this room. That's what state code indicates. Now, sometimes mistakes happen and you can't undo back in time. You've got the right to make certain requirements. You could say this evening, sorry. You pulled a permit for a shed. It sounds like you're well aware that you know what county rules are for this county and other counties for pulling permits and what it takes to dig septics and such. You didn't do it here. You can't blame it on your secretary. You could say, you blame it on the secretary. She didn't pass it on to me, but then again, she's his agent. You could say, you know what? We're gonna pass it. It's a big enough property. It's unique. It's not harmful to adjacent neighbors. But this is only subject to you digging up, showcasing that electrical's installed, electrical's properly run out there, gas is properly run out there, sewer system is properly installed, etc. Make it subject to all of that. You have the choice.
John, did you go out there and physically inspect this?
I inspect, did I or can I?
Can you?
Yeah, I can, yes. And Mike said that he would, if they gave him access to the septic, he would inspect the septic.
But then you're gonna be, everything's enclosed, you're gonna be just,
It would require, I spoke with him after the commissioners meeting, it would require deconstruction, he's aware of that.
are you
It's
okay
not
with,
to the point where.
are you okay with?
I think it'd have to be limited.
It would be
You're gonna
limited.
bill them $5,000 for fees. It says that a notice of violation was in May. I'd like to know how that was done, cause this is almost a year later and I don't know about it.
Certified letter sent in September, did you get that one? Second cease of disorder sent in November?
Yeah, that was the first one. We shut it down, they inspected it, we opened it back up, they sent another letter. Excuse me, they sent another letter, and we shut it down again, and it's been shut down ever since. This is unique. This is unique in that it's not a dwelling. I mean, for definitions purposes, it might meet the criteria, but no one lives there. Couple, 2 or 3 days
Yeah,
and they're gone.
I think we get that.
Okay.
But it's, you know, and like he brought up about the public health or something and the neighbors, I mean, the septic is definitely something to at least be discussed.
Well,
I'd be happy to
Yeah.
help them.
You know what I mean? Because it would fall under public health.
absolutely.
I'm trying to make it
Because I-
directly falls into the requirement so we can.
Go back to the aerial overview. I don't know how recent this aerial overview is, but I don't see 600 square feet clearing in the trees that showcase where there's a septic field put in unless.
He would
was
have
all
to
the
run,
unique
he's
lateral
talking
lines.
about running a pipe. But
It's 600 square feet, but yeah, it's off to the south side. That is a hill. It's very hard to see from there.
It is a cliff.
Okay, I'm just. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got an inline camera. I can show them everything.
we understand that it's not a full-time dwelling, but I mean, you have to have some type of septic system, I would think, by the state
Yes,
requirement.
it does meet the definition and it is used as a dwelling, whether it's temporary or not.
Okay,
It'd be the same thing if someone built a garage, if they have a kitchenette, a bedroom and restroom in it, it is a dwelling.
okay.
It just seems to me that there's a whole list of wrongs with this. I mean, we didn't get the call to do the inspections periodically. We didn't get a septic permit. We didn't meet the minimum square footage. It's just a long list of wrong things.
I never got a list of inspections that need to be done. Maybe because the permit was for a shed, maybe there is.
It was, yes.
Maybe there is no list. I don't know, but
Not for-
I didn't miss inspections that are supposed to happen.
For a prefab shed.
There's a note that the secretary was verbally told this.
Yes, it's attached to the code enforcement case.
Right.
It was mentioned out loud that it would possibly be a Airbnb. And that's when she informed the secretary at the time.
She worked for me at the
It would
time.
require a BZA variance because of size and second dwelling.
The question though is, something like that seems like it should have been written down on the permit. Hey,
Then I could see that, however,
Hmm.
if they say it's a shed, then I'm not gonna not trust them. If, you know what I'm
It's fair.
saying, like,
but the point where she said,
I'm not
"Oh,
gonna
I might do this."
scrutinize, cause that's kind of.
I think
Is
the
it a
reason
prefab shed
the
application?
shed was
Amber,
a
was it
stockholder.
prefab shed?
Right, yes.
Shed is shed, whether it's prefab or not, the difference is what inspections I wanna see. If it's prefab, then I just wanna make sure there's some form of ground on it where he's sitting and it's not half off the cliff.
Electrical service.
Right, if he says he's doing electric, then I have to do an electrical, or if he's doing plumbing, then I have to do plumbing. But for a normal shed, I'm just going out there and make sure it's level and it's not damaged in some way.
Right, so, but there's a distinct difference between applying for a shed versus a house.
Oh, yes, there's inspections for every gate for a house.
In fact, a dwelling permit, we cannot issue without a septic permit.
Well, originally it was gonna get tied into the. And this was all talked about, it was nothing that wasn't talked about, this was done.
And there is a 5-year gap. We weren't here in 21, so all we're tracking is the now. And the October meeting was canceled.
Every.
Every meeting's been
There was a letter
canceled.
before,
New York.
there.
Decent amount of fines were after that October. Yes, the fines began when the cease and desist ended or started, the initial cease and desist.
Well, it started on May though, according to your sheet you had there.
So the May one was the first notice. It's not sent certified. It's more of a heads up that there's a complaint or there's an issue that we need to look into.
Was there a fine?
There should not have been a fine. I don't think there's a fine on that case for that time frame because it's initial contact. I need to get your side, their side, but again, we weren't here in May, so
Yeah, I understand that, yeah,
Um,
and I wasn't
but-
aware of any of these fines.
the certified letter is when the administrative fee would have been activated. And the failure to obtain a permit and the failure to request inspections, because at that time it was established that you did have a tiny home that didn't have a permit and also didn't get inspected. So those are in the fee schedule, those would have been automatically applied. The cease and desist is where the written notice fine comes in. Technically, there should have been a second one when we had to send the other one, but we were already at the point where I'm not gonna keep hammering, you know what I mean?
Well, it's maxed out, right? We can't get the 5 grand, so once you get the 5 grand, there's no point.
Right.
It's a nice place, it'll absolutely pass any inspection you wanna do. Nothing was done halfway. This is all stemming from complaints from a neighbor that just wants to complain about everything. I just built a $2.5 million building just north of town here because of the complaint of dust through IDEM for the same neighbor, so think I'm a pretty reasonable guy, and if you guys can be reasonable with me, I'm happy to apply whatever you wanna do, but I think $5,000 in fines and not even knowing about it's a little excessive.
I have no further questions.
Well, on the same token, we didn't know you were gonna convert it to a bed, rental unit. We were under the understanding it was gonna be a shed and now it's a rental unit and you're saying that you
Well-
weren't told about the fine, so.
It was, so you were here, I'm not sure who you are, sir, but you were here in
Gene.
21, Eugene, sorry.
No, he was not.
It was, it's noted that it was talked about in their
Nobody-
office, it was
none of us-
absolutely talked about.
None of us was here in 21.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's saying you guys didn't know about it. This is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And those folks knew about it. We had a conversation about it.
To be fair to them, it's so back in the woods that even
You
if
wouldn't
I
even
take
know.
code enforcement over there, they just
Yeah.
never see
They'd
it.
never see
You know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
gonna have a hall back there. Like, it is a great place. He has enough parking space for 3 vehicles to include enough room to back out. It's probably nicer than where I'm living, so. It's just, you know. He said he didn't get any, you said you didn't get any notices of fines.
Until-
Get any, you got any certified letters,
No, we ended up getting 2. So we got the first one
and that's how
and it said
much.
to stop, and we did. We came out here, spoke.
No money. When did you get a letter of you owe money?
I never did.
Okay.
Kenny, it was a certified letter that was sent, but it was returned. Whether it
So
wasn't
they-
signed for, but
They
it was
didn't get
returned
it.
Wait, was that?
in December 5th.
Never signed for.
That happens.
So we never.
And that was for how much money?
I'm not a hard person to get a hold of.
Each one is a separate.
Like, somebody got me that.
Got it, so.
How much was the
I
certified letter
talked to him
sent?
already about it.
How much money did he owe in the certified letter? We would have to look it up, sir. the iWorks, our software, takes care of managing the fees and the dates and all that. It's not one letter. If we find them 1,500 on one letter, the second letter isn't 1,500 plus the new, it's just for the offense, right? Could we come up with a compromise? We absolutely, most of those fees,
We can.
I can adjust. What do you want to pay? For all these mistakes and all these money, $1,000, what are you willing to pay? So I will say I did max out every fund, just because I do it for everybody, not just for you. But they are, Jeremiah, what do you? I can adjust.
Unreasonable, I mean, if it's.
Throw a number out.
Well, I don't think that is really the thing right now. The thing is, you guys weren't here.
We can't do nothing about.
We're not here for
Exactly
the
what
fun.
went on, so.
So,
Yeah, you're right, but we can't do anything about
we're not here for the fine.
No.
We're here for the discussion of the two properties. We're not here for the fine.
Okay,
At
then,
this point, that's where we need to decide what we want to do, like the attorney pointed that out to us. Go ahead, Counselor.
The reality of what the facts have shown is that the building was intentionally built after a shed permit was pulled. The fact that conversations happen in the office to dance around the possibility of something is not an application. It's not an excuse. The reality is that they pulled a shed permit. The reality is that water, electrical, gas, and sewer were run out there by a person who frequently installs these and is aware that you need permits for them and did not have them.
oh,
The reality is that there's a pissing match with the neighbor, and the reality is that that's the impetus for how it got here. That's the history. That's the facts of what we're dealing with.
okay,
So the question before us is whether or not, after the fact, you want to grant a developmental variance permit for a second structure on this property,
Yeah.
recognizing all of that. That's the reality of it. There's no excuses. The reality is this is the turd sandwich that you have. And the reality is that all these fines are in there because somebody intentionally did not get permits. Whether or not they've been on notice of them or not, they're at the county. That's what happens when you don't get a permit. It stinks, right?
right,
But otherwise, if you don't set standards, anybody with 30 acres can just go build something in the woods. And you wait until GIS captures it that you build something back there. You can't operate that way either. Even though it's nice, even though it's great, that's just great, which is awesome. That's what you want. You want good structures in town. But you don't want people just going off and building something without permits. It's not the way America works. We're built upon a system of law and governance. So,
Yeah.
what do you guys want to do?
And the other question is, okay, even if we would grant the variance at this point, can we set those rules? Okay, John has to go out, everything has to be okayed. Septic has to be okayed. Can we set those standards?
Absolutely, yeah, you can,
Okay,
you can grant the variance subject
to these things,
You
because
also have the right to apportion a fine or a fee for failure to follow the standard.
then you figure out what the. board
It's up to
wants
you guys to do it. I'm not saying.
well,
you
that's
should.
what I was trying to be.
Well, we can't, I mean, you don't really want to ask him. The board makes that decision, honestly. So,
Well, we would be.
and he has not been given those notices, is what he's saying. So clearly you can't really find him. Chris.
Mr. President, we had presentation from the petitioner. There's an additional history given from town or from county staff. At this point, we do need to open up for public comment in support or against. I would ask if it's going to be redundant. This indicates that you support what Susie or Bob said.
Yeah,
But yeah, we do need to open up to public comment. No, we can take it back.
do we need to make it, do you want to do the against first?
Well, I want to do at least like email the ones I've received.
Okay, we're gonna open up public comment and do the against first, which are the ones you received. Go ahead.
We have received 3 opposed. to This, they are all 3 parcels around the property. First one is Rebecca McQueston. To whom it may concern, myself, Rebecca, and my husband Arthur are submitting this formal complaint to document our concerns in opposition for the short-term rental Airbnb or cabin, which we call it. Operating directly west of our property line, we live at 11335 East, 550 North Grovertown. We will not be in attendance for the hearings as we both have to work, unfortunately. On many occasions, I've caught people on our property trespassing, none of which We're our neighbors as we know everyone around us. We own a very large field behind the cabin. At one point, I had to intervene with ATVs that were driving around our field, and I escorted them off our property. We have a few ponds on that part of our property that could pose a risk for individuals. This is a liability that we do not accept. I have attached a picture of our parcel to show just where everything is. Our parcel is outlined in yellow, and the cabin is circled in green, and the pond circled in blue. If this does not come through correctly, let me know. We do not feel safe with the continual turnover of new strangers this close to our property line. We have children and animals that we are responsible for to protect, and never knowing who may be in our backyard. Very scary. We can see the cabin from our back windows, and on many nights have stayed up to make sure their fire nights didn't get out of hand. This is our home, a place where my family and I should feel safe and not have to worry about who might be lurking on our property. We moved out to the country to have peace and tranquility, 28 acres of pure bliss. So we thought this has not been the case since the cabin has been in operation. I'm nervous every time I notice a light on there. In conclusion, with the ongoing issues created by the Airbnb, I request a thorough review of this property's operation. And lastly, I ask that the variance be denied and all operation to stop immediately for the safety of my family and our home. This was submitted today, February 11th.
Okay, all right. Anybody? I have another one here.
Next one is from Jessica Kraus. And this says, to whom it may concern, I'm submitting this formal complaint to document ongoing and significant disturbances caused by the short-term rental Airbnb operating directly adjacent to my home. I live at the property directly south of 53 North 100 East Grovertown. I apologize for not being in attendance tonight as I have prior commitments. Attached are the photographs demonstrating that the property has been rented continuously from October to the present. Had I been notified earlier, I would have provided additional documentation. Frequent trespassing and safety concerns. On numerous occasions, guests have mistakenly entered my driveway, remained on my property for extended periods, or walked through my yard under the assumption that this was connected to the rental property. I have a 10-year-old boy and 2 teenage daughters that have contacted me while I'm home alone because unknown individuals were parked in our driveway, which has created repeated situations where they feel unsafe. Trespassing has not been limited to simple confusion. Individuals have crossed into my backyard and attempted to climb trees on my property. This issue persisted long enough to the owner placed a small pile of wood to block that what we had effectively become a pathway between the two properties, acknowledging the problem but failing to resolve it. Noise, light, and late night disturbances. The proximity of the Airbnb, approximately 20 to 30 yards from my home, has resulted in significant noise disruptions at all hours. My son's bedroom and mine are located on the north side of the nearest Airbnb, and we have frequently been woken by loud music, talking, and other guest activity late at night. Guest vehicles regularly arrive or depart during late night and early morning hours, shining headlights directly into our windows. These disruptions have affected our ability to sleep, maintain a peaceful home environment, and feel secure within our own residence. Suspicious activity. In the spring, a tent constructed from a blue tarp appeared overnight at the bottom of the hill where 3 properties meet. No neighboring property owners erected it. Its sudden appearance in the middle of the night raised serious concerns regarding safety and unauthorized activity near our home. There's a constant turnover and lack of screening due to the short-term nature of the Airbnbs. There is a continual turnover of strangers in very close proximity to my home. This constant change creates unpredictable environment, particularly for my children. Given the frequency of rentals nearly every day throughout the year, I believe it is reasonable to request clarification on whether background checks are conducted on guests to ensure community safety. Impacts on quality of life. I purchased my home with the understanding that it was a quiet area with no immediate neighbors. The conversion of the adjacent property into a year-round high turnover short-term rental has dramatically altered the character of the area and has created continuous disruptions that affect our daily lives. While I respect that guests are on vacation, my children and I should not be subject to disturbances 7 days a week year-round. Prior zoning concerns. I understand that the same property owner previously attempted to obtain approval to operate a wedding venue at that location. That request was denied. It is difficult to reconcile that decision with the approval or apparent permissiveness of an Airbnb that generates similar, if not greater levels of noise, traffic, and disruption. Conclusion, the ongoing issues created by the short-term rental have become a substantial nuisance and legitimate safety concern for my family. I respectfully request a thorough review of this property's operation and its compliance with applicable zoning, safety, and residential use regulations. I also ask that appropriate action be taken to address the negative impact this Airbnb has had on my home, my family, and our daily well-being. There are no conditions or scenarios where this will be acceptable, so I ask that the variance be denied and all operations to stop immediately. Sincerely, Jessica Kraus. And then I have one more letter submitted by Amber Good. And this is, I'm submitting this letter for the record in lieu of attending the meeting and hearing regarding the cabin rental variance request for the above referenced property. In evaluating this request, I respectfully ask that the board give careful consideration to the county's comprehensive plan and rural zoning goals, including the protection of farmland, water resources, drainage, and the quiet enjoyment of rural homes. Rural zoning exists to preserve low density, non-commercial character and to prevent incompatible commercial or industrial use in agricultural and residential areas. It is my understanding that the subject property is operated as a short-term rental while not in compliance with zoning requirements. Where violations are known, consistent and timely enforcement is essential to maintaining public trust and ensuring equal application of the law. Granting approvals after ongoing non-compliant use raises concerns regarding precedent and fairness for other property owners who comply with zoning regulations. Once rural land is converted to commercial use, the impacts of surrounding properties and the broader community are often permanent. For that reason, variance requests in rural areas warrant especially careful scrutiny. Thank you for your time and for including this letter as part of the official record. Those are the
Anything
three I
else?
had. No.
I'm gonna keep it open for, is there anybody in support?
Do I get
Oh,
a chance to
good.
talk about that or is my time up?
No, so
We'll let comment.
and then we'll allow.
Yeah,
to respond.
we'll give you a couple minutes. Go ahead.
To address Rebecca McChristen. Four-wheelers are not normally an option for cabin tenants at this property, so that's. You can rule that out. That's probably the 4 teenagers that reside at Jeremiah's home. People have fires all the time at cabins. To look out your back window and see a fire, I don't consider that a danger. Jeremiah could set rules and safeguards for the trespassing that is allegedly occurring, which also could be Jeremiah's own children or friends of his children. So these are all allegations. Were there ever any police reports filed? Were there ever any sheriff visits because of these trespassers? I would like to question Rebecca and Jessica. Jessica is a jilted girlfriend of Jeremiah's. She fought to get the wedding venue. Sorry, I'm so frustrated. She fought to get his wedding venue denied, and she made sure of that, and now she's fighting to get this. Jeremiah is an upstanding member of this community. I understand there's been some confusion, and it's not entirely his fault. The canceled meetings were not his fault. This getting resolved back in October was not Jeremiah's fault. Seems like it's a series of misfortunate events. How does a cabin in the woods with a private drive create issues for Jessica's privacy? I don't understand that. That drive isn't even close to her property. People coming in and out of that property, she would never know. Amber Good, a cabin is not a commercial property. We already established that. This does not make it a commercial property. It makes it a landlord, a tenant issue. That's all I have.
Scott Taylor, 1180 Grovertown, US 30 Grovertown. I agree with what my wife said. Jeremiah, he does anything for anybody, and this sounds like a personal vendetta towards him, not
100%.
wanting to stop this cabin. If these two people, I don't know the third one, but I do know the other two, wasn't there, this would not be an issue. That everybody would be supporting, guaranteed.
It also does not violate any of the 4 requirements that the attorney stated. It is not injurious to public health. Once you get the permits established, I can't remember what all 4 of them were, but I went through all.
Or Tad concerned with the septic though. That's
Exactly.
public health.
That's public health, but if you get it, that's a separate issue. He's wanting a variance to operate it. The permits and all that are subject, the variance is subject to those permits. So if those permits are satisfied, then the variance, there's no reason.
Correct. All right. Okay. Anybody else have public comment? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Andre Hatami. I'm at 2845 East 400 South. I believe the Patrick's request for a use variance to allow a short-term rental in an agricultural residential zone is very reasonable. It's not a commercial venue. It's not a party house. The single rule home that's rented occasionally to families, people looking for a quiet stay in the country. It's owner managed, closely monitored, and the property is in a rural area with very little traffic. Septic system is adequate, and they're willing to meet any inspection requirements that the county asks for. Additionally, they can provide past soil samples. And the house sits on a very large parcel with space between the neighbors. There have been concerns before, it has been brought up, and the owner understands that. He's committed to handling them responsibly, moving forward. I also understand that the structure is about 250 square feet, right, which is below the 800 square foot minimum. And so it is technically considered a second dwelling. But because of its small nature, that naturally limits occupancy and the overall impact to the area. It functions more like a small rural cabin than a full second residence. And I think we can all agree to that. Regarding the county fines, right, they obviously understand the seriousness of that situation. And they're here working to address it properly and in good faith. So if they're able to resolve that through the correct processes, should be water under the bridge. Because of the location, the size, and how the home sits, in the back of the property away from the road, I believe this property can support the use without changing the rural character of the area. They're willing to accept reasonable conditions if needed. Any changes, and they can verify those changes through the installation process. They respect the process, they respect the board, they respect the rural character of Stark County. Right, and they're here in good faith. So for those reasons, I respectfully ask the board approves the use variance. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Jerry Patrick. I'm Jeremiah's dad. I live at 409 South Pearl Street here in Knox. Would like to just say, first of all, the background that was brought up there, you don't know who it is. If you've done anything with Airbnb, I have an Airbnb myself. Everybody is screened. You don't just get an Airbnb. It's not like going to a motel. They actually ask you a bunch of background information. So it's not like just anybody going into these places. Two, if you go on Airbnb website, you'll pull up almost identical. Somebody looked at Jeremiah's place and then within a few miles, it's in a different county, has almost the identical setup as he has right now with, you want to call it a small shed or whatever. And so as far as size and as far as backgrounds, of course, I'm his dad and he does things up and up. And so I like to see it go forward, but again, I'm partial dad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, John Rhodey, boat launch house, everyone calls it. I would just say most Airbnbs, when you think Airbnbs, you think big party houses. I know around the lake, those neighbors, if they could come in here and write letters and scream about all the people, this sounds like a 20 by 14. I mean, how many people can be in there and it's tucked in the woods? I just don't understand that these neighbors are all hearing all of that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Angela Jesuit, 6054 East 25 North, Knox, Indiana. I've been in that particular Airbnb. There's a queen bed. How many to address her party comment, how many people can sleep in a queen bed? Are you creating?
Yeah, sure it is, yeah.
Any other comment?
Anthony
ahead.
Garland,
Go ahead.
036 South North Hudson and 80. I've been back to this place. It sits back there. No one's, you don't see anybody. It's a quiet little place. I don't think there's anything it's hurting. Granted, he's got a couple things he's gotta have checked, but I say let it go.
Council, do I have to close comment?
You do.
All right, can I get a motion to close public
No,
comment?
there's no motion, you just close it.
Oh, we're gonna close public comment. Just have a discussion amongst the board.
Okay.
Oh, you're not doing it.
I think you'll get that chance here in a second. I'm sure one of the board members.
Yeah, just wait, let the board.
Wait a second. Yeah, we need that info. You still there, Gene?
I'm still here.
Okay, so we're just up board more than anything, so. What do you guys think?
I'm born here. So on him, like, he does this and he'll know better.
I think you should get it,
Also, like,
should have to be inspected. He is a professional, I know it's right, but, he needs inspected to satisfy.
Kenny?
I agree. Do the inspections, somebody go out there and check the septic system, anything needs to be changed?
No,
Whatever, you know?
we would have to get with him and he said he would help a snake or
Yeah.
if Mike requires slight digging, then I'm sure he'll do that.
Yeah.
I think we're focusing too much on the Airbnb
Yeah.
and not enough on
What
me and Amber have
yeah.
to shut down, 100
All
people
the
a
other
month that want to build a
Airbnbs.
tiny home on their land,
He's
in their.
saying two
footprint.
properties on, two dwellings on one
Right,
property.
that's
That's
the-
what.
I wish it was
That's
on
what
the
the
other.
variance is for. That's what I
Be
said.
easy.
We gotta focus on that too.
Two dwellings on one property, okay.
He does own both parcels of that. There is another parcel. The Airbnb is not on it, but he does own that front corner as well.
Airbnb on a separate parcel than the home?
It's,
It-
so there's
it
a
isn't.
parcel there.
There's a parcel here
Yeah.
and this is clear back here.
But his entire property is two parcels.
I see what you're saying.
He's saying there's two homes on one parcel.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. So if somebody comes in, they wanna put a 300 square foot home. It's not saying you're setting a precedence because, and I remember the last attorney, they said everything is case by case. So this is a case by case, is what I was told. Is that correct, counsel? You don't set a precedence.
It is, but you always are setting a precedent, so you gotta be careful. If you are going to approve this, then you better have specifics as to why you are approving it that may delay.
I would go with sheer
Yeah.
size of the property is
Who's phone?
what I would go. Big
Okay.
property. He owns another parcel. I wish he could redraw it and make it all work, but.
Gene, you have any comment?
Well, I do. It's just my opinion. I just feel that there was a plan from the giddy up, right from the very beginning, which didn't involve county procedures.
No, he doesn't get a vote. No, lost you. What's up? I heard you, Gene. He doesn't get a vote. He does not get a vote, but we did hear you, Gene. We appreciate your input. That the board members are here. So
Mr. President, at this point, I would let the petitioner with one last reply to
Yeah.
any public comment, and then you guys can finish deliberating.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I want to thank my friends and family that supported me tonight. Appreciate that. I know, I want to speak to Eugene here because integrity is very personal to me. I've lived here my whole life. I do a lot of business here. I've built a lot of structures here, homes, businesses. I certainly wouldn't try to circumvent a permitting process on a shed, I guess we're calling it. I certainly would not have done that intentionally. I have no problem with inspections. Like I said before, this was permitted as a shed because that's what's told what we needed to do. It was a shed. It was a prefab shed that was brought to that property. That's how that happened. The rest of it is what it is. At any time we were notified of any violation or any issue, we immediately responded. Unfortunately, you guys haven't had a quorum. We haven't been able to get in front of you. I went in front of the county commissioners. We've been to your office, talked to John. I've tried to do anything I could do to resolve this from the day we found out that there was an issue. I'd like for that to be on the record for my integrity of the whole situation. If there was anything to circumvent, it certainly wouldn't be this. As regard to the letters, I understand anybody's there. It's two people. Occasionally they've been a child, but they certainly aren't walking around doing anything. They're well aware of the boundaries. In fact, you can see I have a pond on the property. We don't even allow them access to that. They have to stay at the cabin. There's never been a noise complaint. I've never heard music. I heard somebody said they hear music. I've never heard it, and you see how close I live to it. With a
Still,
family,
we're
correct?
still straying away from the subject. The subject is there's two dwellings on one parcel.
Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have to close? We already closed it.
It's already, yeah, no, it's
Okay.
more discussion.
So you guys just have a discussion and figure out what you're willing to accept. I'm the chairman, so I don't get a vote, but whatever you guys accept. It's great being chairman.
Right.
What's that you're looking at me? I would say. If the board voted, I would say the stipulation would be no more than what you have. Can't be,
No more, yeah.
can't keep
Can't
doing
add.
this. All right, mistakes were made. Wires were crossed, it's obvious.
With the background from you guys, is this the only property with permit issues through?
It's a case by case.
No, he's asking if
Well, that's-
you guys had.
Jeremiah has pulled multiple permits and submitted, I know, his septic things and everything to Mike as normal in drawings.
Yeah, there's nothing,
Nothing else, nothing else. Who's got that?
there's nothing.
Just on this
here that
property.
It
can't be
says property.
fixed. Eye inspections.
Nothing here that can't be fixed.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
with
that's what I
inspections and
wanted to
permitting.
hear.
Yeah, there's nothing here that can't be.
Make a motion to approve it.
Well, you're gonna have to set some stipulations with that.
Well, a stipulation would be. No more buildings on the property.
Okay, what about a septic? What about all this other stuff?
Stipulation would be
No more dwellings or?
the septic. No more Airbnb.
Dwelling. No more dwelling.
Dwellings.
A
So
lot about them.
the septic system would have to be looked at, inspected, electrical.
What about?
And if the building commissioner department approves it, providing. Passes all his, then I don't see a problem with it. I mean, it's not been, and this has been a tough one for me, because there's pros and cons and
Fines, any fines on the property?
the fines.
Yes, that's something to discuss.
I don't know myself if the building commissioner would be open to some type of compromise, maybe. Because you can't.
I don't believe that's set by us. If we don't wanna add any more fines to what he's currently got on.
Not put more weight on the load here. Saying he realizes now that few mistakes were made. And there's fines that go with it, but I think.
It is fair to say that they are at my discretion. It would be unfair to him to keep my fines if you guys are gonna impose fines. So obviously, the fines you guys impose, I will work. There will not be additional fines above the fines that you guys impose.
Okay. About $1,000.
Sorry, I lied. The administration fee I can't waive, the $350. That in ordinance I cannot get rid of, so.
Okay, so, well, okay, what if we do? So this comes out to $1,000, $350, $650. $650 to $350 to you and.
A total of $1,000.
$1,000.
So what is your motion?
My motion is that. My motion is $1,000 total, pay the administration fees, so the rest goes to the county or board or where it goes. No more.
Additional.
Airbnbs on the property, this is a one-time deal for one case by case.
Okay.
And I think, other than
What about the
that,
septic?
you have any other stipulations? I think that's.
Septic?
Well, yeah, as long as it passes the building commissioners, inspections.
And the septic.
Yeah, septic system, electrical, and it's up to standards, then I say we could pass it pending those things.
One thing, sir, we don't have an ordinance I don't think that we can impose stricter than the ordinance allows. So you can't say no more Airbnbs. It would have to be no more dwellings.
No more dwellings, thank you. All right.
Yep.
Did you understand that,
That's
Council?
accurate. And
Did you get that,
secondly-
Council?
Secondly, the fines that are presently pending are at the discretion of the building department.
Yeah,
Whether or not the BZA wants to apportion.
I don't know if we need
separate
to-
fines.
I don't know if we need to add any fines. He's already,
Right.
he still has that $5,000 fine.
No, are we eliminating the 5,000?
No,
That's
That's
up to
building
them.
department's
That's up to
discretion. The question is.
So we
whether
don't wanna
this
add it.
board
They-
wants to
No, I
approve
don't,
any addition.
that's not my intentions is to add $1,000 on top of what the building.
Okay.
Commissioner has.
So, no fines.
That's
we-
money over
No
there.
fines.
Let me try to verbalize.
What you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You're confusing
So
me.
Kenny has made a motion
Ooh.
to approve the use variance to allow a secondary dwelling on the AR zone property that is less than 800 square feet.
Yes.
That's in addition, that there shall be no further occupancy or use until it passes a septic inspection, electrical, and any and all county inspection approvals, including health department.
Right.
Once it satisfactorily passes all of those, as well as pays any fines subject to the building department approval, then it can go back to use. Is that?
Yes.
Summarize what you said.
Yes, is there a certain amount of time that those inspections will be done in, or he's just
can add that
whenever
in,
he
sir.
gets to them? Can we add that in so he's not
Put it in.
waiting longer? I
Motion.
think he wants to get everything settled up.
So when do you want to make this? He has to have this all done in
Well,
what,
the
2 months, 3
inspection-
months?
3 months,
How about
90 days.
A couple months.
Can you do it in 90 days?
Do it in a week.
Well, well, you get it done, it's less than 90 days.
So it's like.
Deconstruct stuff, not us.
Okay. So that's gonna be done in the addition is 90 days.
90 days, less than 90 days.
And Kenny, the board is further, your motion further is making a finding that this is not injurious to the public health because it's significant distance away. Number 2 is its isolated spot on the property, makes it so it doesn't negatively affect area
And
properties.
neighbors. Right.
3, the unique condition of the property is that it's located in the very back end. It's a very large parcel. And it's a
Like you
supplemental use to the property. And 4th, it's not a self-imposed hardship. There's a misunderstanding that arose 4 years ago. And the applicant is willing to meet any and all standards at present.
Correct.
And then accrued fines would be between them.
That's another discussion. That's another
That'll
discussion.
be negotiated.
That's another discussion. Is that your motion, Kenny?
That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Well, first,
Right.
discussion, make sure there's any discussion
Any discussion?
on the motion.
I think we've had a discussion till we beat it.
All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
all right, motion
Motion
carries.
passes. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, buddy.
Anybody else? Anything coming?
Yeah, take over.
No.
I don't think.
You stop and send it down, you're good to go.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second. David. Wow. That's so.
Good night, fellas.
Only BZ.
Good night.